Hi, this is Alex from devstories.eu. Deep Agents, Episode 1 of 16. Building a coding agent from scratch is fun for about an hour. Then your model hits the context limit, forgets the original task entirely, and overwrites a critical file with garbage. To stop your assistant from destroying its own workspace, you need what is known as the agent harness pattern. People often encounter this pattern through a library called Deep Agents. First, a quick clarification. Deep Agents is not LangChain and it is not LangGraph. It is a standalone Python library that sits on top of those tools, packaging them into a ready-to-use coding assistant. If you try to build a coding assistant yourself, you usually start with a basic script. You take a user prompt, send it to a large language model, and print the code it returns. That is just a simple chat loop. It works fine for answering a single question, but soon you want the model to actually implement a feature across multiple files on your machine. This is where the illusion breaks. You realize you have to manually write tools to read files, search directories, and apply code diffs safely. You need a system to track context over dozens of steps without maxing out the token limit. You have to build a persistent task list so the model actually remembers what it just did and what it needs to do next. You end up spending all your time writing file system boilerplate and state management instead of focusing on the agent behavior. This is exactly what the agent harness pattern solves. A harness is the infrastructure layer wrapping around the raw language model. It turns a fragile, stateless chat loop into a durable, long-running agent. In Deep Agents, this harness provides the memory management, the file system operations, and the step-by-step planning logic straight out of the box. You give it a high-level goal and point it at a local directory. The harness takes over the repetitive work of giving the model a safe environment to plan, edit, and verify code. Here's the key insight. The primary advantage of using an independent harness like Deep Agents is that it is completely model agnostic. Tightly integrated solutions like the Claude Agent SDK or older ecosystems like OpenAI Codex are heavily optimized, but they lock you into a single provider. If a cheaper or smarter model is released tomorrow, migrating your tightly coupled agent is a massive headache. Because Deep Agents abstracts the environment away from the reasoning engine, the language model becomes a totally replaceable component. The harness manages the task lists, reads the file system, and handles the error recovery. That logic remains identical whether you use Anthropic, OpenAI, or a local open-weight model. The harness is the chassis of the car, and the language model is just the engine. The true value of this pattern is reliability. An agent is only as capable as the environment it operates in, and without a harness to anchor it to a real file system and a concrete plan, even the smartest model is just a text generator spinning its wheels. If you want to help keep the show going, you can search for Dev Stories EU on Patreon. Any support there goes a long way and is always appreciated. That's all for this one. Thanks for listening and keep building.